Do you ever find yourself with a perfectly organized to-do list? It's been prioritized perfectly. It's looks nice. It's neat, tidy, and you've got your calendar just perfectly blocked out. It looks almost like an art piece, right? And you've got this plan of action. You're going to go from this task to that task or this meeting to that meeting. But at the end of the day, you don't get all of the things done that you want to get done, or you find yourself shuffling those things on the calendar to the next week to fit the next available slot that looks good to you. Well, let me tell you something. It's not always about time management. If you're finding that you can't get through your to-do lists and you're constantly shuffling them over to the next day or kicking the can down the road, then you might be looking at energy management. Energy management is often overlooked when we talk about procrastination in particular, because we tend to think it's only about time. But it's not only about time, it's about the energy that you have to do something. I mean, if the batteries are dead in the remote control, you can push those buttons all day long and they're not going to do anything, right? And the same goes for your energy. If you don't have any energy after your first task in the morning, then how can you get anything else done? And I'll give you a very popular example of this, and that is eat your frog. Eat your frog tells you to do the hardest tasks first and then do the other tasks that aren't as hard, right? And that's a very good technique. I mean, I love it. I use it in a lot of instances, but the eat your frog doesn't necessarily take into account the energy management aspect of things. And I'm going to go into that in just a moment. So, as you can see here, we have energy listed as an acronym, and let's go through that right now. So E is for energy management, which is energy first. And I just went into a little bit about that beforehand here. So the second letter in energy management, in energy here, the N is for negative energy. Now, we want to make sure that we are limiting our exposure to negative energy as much as possible, or if it's not possible, we want to ensure that we are stacking up some activities or some time in between those tasks, which are a real emotional drain or energetic drain on us, to ensure that we can move forward and keep our energy at a level needed to be able to do everything we want to do and need to get done. And to do that, we need to limit the negative energy as well. The next letter here that we have is another E, and that is for essential focus. And that simply means that, out of your list of priorities, I mean, in today's world, a lot of things can seem important or urgent, but when everything is urgent or important, nothing is urgent or important afterwards. It's kind of a forest for the trees thing is that you've got just way too much there. So essential focus means to take a look at what it is that you want to do, take a look at your task list, and then take a look at those tasks which are actually going to move the needle forward on that. And that'll also help you determine what's important and urgent as well. The next one that we have there after that E is we have the R, and that's recognize the race that you're in. So whatever you're doing, you need to recognize what it is that you're doing and then take a look at how you can get there or what ways you can get there and just recognize what you'll need to do that and what it will require of you energetically. This requires knowing yourself really well and knowing how much energy you're actually going to need. It's sort of like how when you these long distance marathon runners, the super marathon runners that run really long distances, they know how much energy they need and they plan on, when they're going to eat, where they need to eat, where they need to rest. It's no different for you and your tasks. Even if you're not running a marathon, it's no different for you and your tasks during the day. The next letter here is the G, and the G stands for go all in on yourself. Now, this is actually interpreted in a few different ways. By going all in on yourself, you need to trust yourself. You need to have the tasks and the way that you do your tasks aligned with you and your core values. That is super important to keep your energy levels up. And the last part of the G for go all in on yourself is self care. Now, self care is super important. And yet we live in a society where we glorify workaholics, we glorify, the grind, the hustle, and we lose sight of the fact that we need to take care of ourselves in order to be productive and in order to be happy and in order to have effective, actions being taken in our tasks. The last letter in energy there is the Y. Now, I like the Y because it's a double meaning here. It's the letter Y, right? But it is also for the word why. And when I talk about energetic with the why, it's when your why is high, your cost is low. So if you know specifically why you are doing something, then you will know why and you'll have the drive and you can actually boost your energy levels. If you don't know why you're doing something, it's almost like a little energy suck at the back of your mind, right? Because your mind is trying to create the reason you're doing it. But if you can't figure it out or your mind can't figure it out, it's just going to keep running in the background. Kind of like when you have too many tabs open on Chrome, that tab that you're not using is still using up space. So if you don't know why, your brain is actually trying to figure out why while you're trying to do the thing. And that's why, no pun intended, and that's why, it'll be a sap on your energy. The second part of that why is your pace. So remember, we like to look at entrepreneurs and we like to look at businesses and we look at those, overnight successes, right? A lot of those overnight successes are 10-year overnight successes or at least 5-year overnight successes. So, don't go comparing yourself to this person who apparently did it in, 2 or 3 days or overnight because, we don't necessarily know their story and we don't know their journey, but you know yourself and you know how fast you can do things and still do them to, the quality that you want. That is the energy acronym for you. Now, what are the three things that I say are the most important when we talk about this? Well, know when. When are you the most energetic? Are you a morning person? Are you a night person? Do you have most of your energy right in the morning and then you slowly taper off? Or do you get a boost of energy right in the middle? So are you most energetic from say 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.? By knowing this, you'll know when you can put those more arduous or difficult tasks into your calendar so that you know when you'll be most energetically available to get those done. Your routines are so important for energy management. This is your daily routine, and I'm not just talking about waking up at the same time doing exercise. I'm talking about when you drink your coffee. If you're a coffee drinker, you don't want to be drinking that first cup of coffee for at least 1 hour after you wake up. Who knew that? I mean, I personally jumped out of bed and grabbed 1 or 2 cups of coffee right out right out the gate. But when you do that, you're actually setting yourself up to not be energetic during the day because you're not giving your brain the time it needs, which is about 35 to 45 minutes to kind of kick over into that wakeful state. You're artificially pushing it with the caffeine, which means that, after you drink that coffee, by 9, 10 o'clock, you're wanting that other one because, your brain is still kicked back now to when you pre woke up and trying to get that flow again. Yeah, I never knew either. And, so the next part in the routine is your nightly routine, set yourself up for a good night's sleep. No screens for 2 hours, put your phone in another room, turn off your notifications, anything to make sure you get a good night's sleep. I mean, it should be pretty obvious, but I mean, we tend to sabotage ourselves a lot when it comes to our sleep. Binge watching Netflix or, eating certain foods, drinking coffee after, 7 p.m. at night. Again, and again, I love coffee. I'm not against coffee at all. Coffee has many health benefits. It's just that we use it in the wrong way. So I've saved actually the best for last now. After we talk about routine, we now talk about joy and giggling, looking for the happiness in the day. The quickest way to get yourself more energy during the day is to have joy in what you're doing. So enjoy what you're doing. And if that's not possible, just laugh, just giggle, just go, and yeah, yeah, I know. Some of you are probably finding that. But and if you can't giggle, because I'll admit it was hard for me too, you can actually break yourself into it slowly. And I got this one off of social media a while back. So just do the 5 haws, or do as many haws as you need to get to giggling. So it looks like this: ha 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 ha. See how that works? And I bet, it looks silly, but I bet that after you do that, you're gonna notice that your energy picked up a bit. Well, that's all I have for right now. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Why don't you tell me your favorite method or your favorite way of getting energized or your favorite method of energy management in the comments? And look forward to hearing from you.